Welcome to our lecture online, and here's a third look at what we mean by the complex power. So the first two equations we discovered in the previous videos, that the complex power in the phasor format can be expressed as 1/2 the voltage in the phasor format times the complex conjugate of the current in the phasor format. It can also be expressed as I squared Z, where the current has to be the RMS current. Again, these are phasor formats. Or it can be IRMS squared times the impedance in phasor format R plus JX. Notice that then is equal to P plus JQ, where P is the real power and Q is what we call the reactive power, kind of like the imaginary power, because we're actually not consuming the power, we're storing it and releasing it and storing and releasing it in the capacitors and the inductors. Now, if we take a look at this triangle here, this by now should look familiar. This is the phasor triangle. We can see that this here is the complex power, this is the real power, and this is the imaginary power. The real axis, the imaginary axis for the real power consumed by the resistor, and then this is the reactive power which is absorbed and resubmitted into the circuit. We can calculate the real power by taking the RMS current squared times the resistor, or we can find the reactive power by taking the RMS current squared times the reactance. Notice that the magnitude of the complex power, which is the apparent power, is equal to the square root of the real power squared plus the reactive power squared. And of course, these are the magnitudes of those. Again, as a reminder, again here we have the same equation, but also S representing of the apparent power is 1/2 V max times I max times the cosine of the phase angle, or VRMS times IRMS times the cosine of the phase angle, where the phase angle is equal to the phase angle of the voltage minus the phase angle of the current. And finally, if Q is 0, now what's Q again? Q is the reactive power. If it is equal to 0, then there is no reactive power, then it's purely a resistive load. Then all of the power is dissipated through the resistor. There's no power being absorbed or readmitted by any capacitors or inductors. If Q is greater than 0, then we have what we call an inductive load. Then the voltage leads, current lags, and therefore we have a lagging power factor. And if Q is negative, it's less than 0, then we have a capacitive load, and then we have what we call a leading power factor. So that's everything put together. Now we should have a pretty good idea of what the power factor is, what the apparent power is, and what the complex power is, as well as the reactive power and the real power. So now we should have a good idea about all that. We're going to need to see some examples. All right, those are coming up in the next videos.